Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ultimate exploration of stardom and the quiet echoes of the future. Imagine for a fleeting second that the year is 2060. The blinding stadium lights have finally dimmed. The deafening, earth-shaking cheers of the army have settled into a gentle, golden whisper of nostalgia. And the seven kings of the global music industry are finally taking off their heavy, diamond-encrusted crowns to rest. We know them as the unstoppable global icons who conquered the Billboard charts, shattered glass ceilings, and redefined pop culture. But have you ever paused to wonder where their hearts truly yearn to settle when the music stops? Beyond the glamour, the Gucci, the private jets, and the Grammys lies a profoundly simple human desire for peace, art, freedom, and a place to truly call home. Tonight, we aren't just looking at maps or travel guides. We are diving deep into the souls of RM, Jin, Suga, J-Hope, Jimin V, and Jungkook to decode their personalities and history. From the smoky, jazz-filled streets that whisper seductive melodies to a certain baritone soul, to the sun-drenched, endless coasts calling out to a fishing enthusiast, and the quiet, intellectual, artistic hubs perfect for a leader's massive library. Which American cities hold the secret key to their golden years? Why does a bustling, sleepless metropolis appeal to one, while a quiet, isolated desert landscape calls out to another? Is it the food, the culture, or a specific memory from a decade ago? Prepare your hearts and open your minds, because we are about to uncover a future you've never imagined, piecing together clues from interviews, vlogs, and their very own lyrics. Are you ready to walk down the path of their dreams and discover the sanctuary of legends? Sit back, relax, and let the journey begin. Number 7, J-Hope, the City of Angels for the Angel of Hope, a West Coast rhythm where street dance meets eternal sunshine. We begin our journey on the sun-drenched coast of the Pacific, where the golden hour seems to last forever, and the palm trees sway to an invisible beat that only the truest artists can hear. Number 7 on our list takes us to the sprawling, vibrant, and culturally explosive metropolis of Los Angeles, California, a city that has long served as a second home for the global superstars. But for one member in particular, it represents the ultimate sanctuary of rhythm, style, and freedom. We are talking about none other than the group's dance leader, the Eternal Sunshine, the rhythm master, Jungkook, better known to the world as J-Hope. Why Los Angeles? Why would this Gwangju-born icon choose the chaotic glamour of LA to spend his golden years? To understand this choice, we must look far beyond the Hollywood sign and the paparazzi-filled streets of Beverly Hills. We have to delve deep into the very DNA of J-Hope's artistry. J-Hope is not just an idol. He is a street dancer at his core, a man whose soul vibrates with the history of old-school hip-hop, poppin', and lockin'. Los Angeles is the undeniable mecca of these dance forms. Historically, the streets of Los Angeles, particularly in the 70s and 80s, gave birth to the funk styles that J-Hope idolized. Can you imagine a retired silver-haired, still impeccably dressed in high-end vintage streetwear, perhaps a fusion of Louis Vuitton and rare thrift finds strolling down the vibrant streets of the Arts District or Fairfax Avenue? It is a vision that makes perfect sense. LA offers him the unique ability to stay connected to the pulse of the dance world without the pressure of performing for a stadium. In his retirement, J-Hope wouldn't be sitting in a rocking chair. He would be the cool, legendary mentor visiting local dance studios in North Hollywood, sharing wisdom with the next generation of poppers and lockers, keeping the culture alive. We have seen glimpses of his love for this city throughout his career. Think back to the filming of the Chicken Noodle Soup music video. The sheer joy on his face as he danced alongside diverse creators under the California sun was not just performance. It was a spiritual homecoming. The weather of Los Angeles also plays a massive role in this selection. J-Hope is known for his bright, sunny, and energetic personality. He is the son of BTS. The gloomy rains of London or the freezing winters of Seoul might dampen that radiant spirit in his later years, but the perpetual spring and summer of Southern California mirror his internal temperature perfectly. Furthermore, let's talk about lifestyle. J-Hope has developed a profound appreciation for contemporary art and high fashion, two industries that thrive in the sprawling urban landscape of LA. Imagine him spending his Tuesday mornings at the Los Angeles County Museum of Art, LACMA, or the Broad, admiring works by Kaws and Takashi Murakami not as a rushing tourist, but as a seasoned collector savoring the silence of the gallery. The Edu-tainment aspect here is crucial. Los Angeles is often misunderstood as just a movie town, but it is actually a sprawling canvas of diverse neighborhoods. For J-Hope, a home in the quiet, elevated hills of Silver Lake or the exclusive, nature-filled enclosures of Bel Air would provide the perfect duality: privacy from the masses, yet instant access to the vibrant cultural hubs he loves. We also cannot ignore the culinary scene. J-Hope loves good food and has a refined palate. Las Koreatown is the largest outside of Korea, offering him a taste of home whenever he misses the motherland. But the city's endless options for healthy, organic, and fusion cuisine align perfectly with his meticulous self-care routine. Reflect on the lyrics of Hope World. He talks about creating his own world, a place of optimism and peace. Los Angeles, with its vast horizons, where the ocean meets the sky, offers the physical space to manifest that hope world into a retirement reality. It is a city of dreamers, and J-Hope has always been the ultimate dreamer who worked tirelessly to make those dreams concrete. As he ages, the frantic energy of his youth will likely transform into a cool, laid-back West Coast vibe. He wouldn't be the idol chasing charts anymore. He would be the icon enjoying the sunset from a Malibu balcony, listening to old vinyl records of funk classics, sipping an iced Americano, and smiling that signature heart-shaped smile because he knows he made it. The synergy between J-Hope's vibrant, colorful aesthetic and last saturation of light and color is undeniable. It is a match written in the stars, a place where the boy from Gwangju can finally rest his dancing shoes, or perhaps just switch them out for a more comfortable pair and watch the waves roll in, knowing that his legacy is cemented in the pavement of history, much like the stars on the Walk of Fame just a few miles away. This isn't just retirement, it's an encore of life lived at a different tempo. Can you see him there? Walking his dog down a palm-lined street, unrecognized by the tourists, but nodded at by the locals, who know that the stylish older gentleman in the bucket hat is a living legend. Los Angeles awaits its sunshine. Number 6. Kim Seok-jin, the captain's paradise for the moon, where the ocean meets the fairway, a worldwide handsome retreat. Moving down our list to number 6, we shift our gaze south from the frenetic energy of Los Angeles to a place that whispers rather than screams. A city renowned for having perhaps the most perfect weather on the face of the earth, and a coastline that calls out to the weary souls of sailors and dreamers alike. We are landing in the breathtaking, sun-soaked haven of San Diego, California, and there is only one member of BTS whose soul is perfectly shaped to fit into this luxurious, laid-back, and aquatic paradise. The eldest, the visual, the worldwide handsome himself, Kim C. Why San Diego? At first glance, you might think Jin belongs in a high-rise penthouse in Seoul or New York. But pause and reflect on who Kim Seok-jin truly is when the cameras stop rolling. He is a man who values comfort. He possesses a whimsical sense of humor. He loves good food. And above all, he is an avid, borderline-obsessed angler and a budding golf enthusiast. San Diego is, quite literally, the world capital of these specific pursuits. Imagine the year 2055, Jin aging like a fine wine beet, because let's be honest, his face probably won't age a day waking up in a sprawling Mediterranean-style mansion, perched atop the cliffs of Loyola or Del Mar. The Pacific Ocean stretches out infinitely before him, a canvas of deep blue that matches the depth of his solo track, The Astronaut. The choice of San Diego is rooted deeply in Jin's love for fishing, a hobby he has shared with fans and members alike. We all remember the legendary Super Tuna phenomenon. That wasn't just a song, it was a declaration of love for the sea. San Diego offers some of the best deep-sea fishing on the planet. Can you visualize a retired Jin wearing a bucket hat and a windbreaker, captaining his own luxury yacht named the Worldwide Handsome, 2 out of the harbor at dawn, chasing bluefin tuna and yuck? It's a scene so vivid it feels like a memory from the future. Unlike the frantic paparazzi culture of LA, San Diego offers a quiet luxury that fits Jin's desire to live He has often spoken about the importance of doing nothing as a form of rest. San Diego is the city of productive idleness. It is a place where time slows down, But it's not just about the water. Let's talk about the greens. Jin has been spotted playing golf frequently in his downtime, and San Diego is home to the world-famous Torrey Pines golf course. Picture him there on a Tuesday morning, cracking dad jokes to his caddy, his laughter echoing against a coastal breeze as he sinks a birdie putt. The Edu-tainment factor here is significant. San Diego is a major hub for biotech and gaming conventions. Hello, comic, blending the relaxing beach vibe with a hidden nerd culture that appeals to Jin, the avid gamer who loves me. He could spend his days fishing and his nights in a high-tech gaming room with the fastest fiber optic internet America has to offer, connecting with old friends online. The culinary landscape of San Diego also cannot be ignored for the creator of Eat Jin. The city is famous for its Bahamian cuisine and fresh seafood. One can easily imagine Jin frequenting the best sushi spots in the Gaslamp Quarter or enjoying fish tacos by the beach, critiquing the flavors with that signature pout and nod of approval. Furthermore, the climate of San Diego, mild winters and warm summers, is crucial for someone who wants to escape the bitter cold of Korean winters. As the eldest member who carried the weight of responsibility for so long, acting as the bridge between the company and the younger members, Jin deserves a retirement that is purely about pleasure and self-indulgence. San Diego allows him to be the math young eldest brother who retired to a castle by the sea. It is a city that doesn't demand performance. It only asks you to enjoy the view. The psychological fit is perfect. Jin has a very practical, grounded, yet playful personality. He doesn't need the pretentious art scene of New York or the grit of a heavy industrial city. He needs sunshine, a fishing rod, a comfortable bed, and a good view. San Diego provides the ultimate backdrop for a man who has conquered the universe and now just wants to conquer the next catch of the day. It is a place where worldwide handsome becomes worldwide happy, surrounded by the crashing waves that remind him of the endless love he received from Army. But now, the roar of the crowd is replaced by the roar of the ocean, a sound he can finally sleep soundly to. This is the golden era for the silver voice. The coastlines have been claimed, but what about the members who thrive on intellect, history, and the quiet rustle of old books? Who is next? And will they choose the East Coast or somewhere entirely unexpected? Number 5. RM. The Indigo Sanctuary for the Philosopher King, where rain meets reflection, a museum of trees. As we ascend the list to number 5, we leave the sunny, golden coasts of California behind and travel north, crossing into a region defined by its mystical evergreen forests, its brooding poetic skies, and a deep intellectual soul that mirrors the very essence of our next member. We are landing in the Emerald City, the jewel of the Pacific Northwest, Seattle, Washington. If there is one place on the North American continent that physically embodies the concept of Namjuning, it is here. This city is the chosen sanctuary for the leader, the poet, the art enthusiast, and the nature lover, Kim Namjoon, known to the world as REM. Why Seattle? To answer this, we must strip away the idol persona and look at the man who finds peace in the quiet observation of the world. RM is a man of dualities. He loves the modern and the traditional, the bustling city and the silent forest, the structured architecture of a museum, and the chaotic growth of a wildflower. Seattle is the geographic manifestation of this duality. Imagine the year 2065. The roar of the stadium crowds has faded into the gentle patter of rain against a window pane, a sound that RM has often cited as a source of comfort. In this future, RM is not just a retired pop star. He is a local sage, a patron of the arts, perhaps even a visiting professor of philosophy or art history at the University of Washington. Seattle's climate, often characterized by its moody, overcast gray skies, is not a deterrent for him. It is a feature. It is the perfect weather for introspection, for reading thick volumes of philosophy while sipping a hot artisanal pour-over coffee in a dimly lit cafe in the Capitol Hill district. We know REM loves coffee, but in Seattle, coffee is a religion, a craft that demands patience and appreciation, mirroring the way RM approaches his lyricism. But let's talk about the specific geography that calls to his soul. RM's solo track Bicycle was an ode to his favorite mode of transport and his primary method of decompressing. Seattle is one of the most bike-friendly cities in America. Picture a silver-haired Namjoon, dressed in earthy tones, greens, browns, and soft beige, cycling down the Burt Gilman Trail. The wind is cool on his face. The air smells of pine and salt water, and to his left, the waters of Lake Washington glisten. To his right, a dense canopy of trees creates a natural tunnel. He stops not to sign autographs, but to inspect a small crab on the shore of Puget Sound, or to admire the moss growing on an ancient cedar tree, whispering his appreciation for its resilience. This connection to nature is vital. RM has always sought to find the profound in the small things. The majestic presence of Mount Rainier looming in the distance serves as a constant reminder of nature's grandeur, a humbling backdrop that appeals to his philosophical worldview. Then, there is the art. We cannot discuss RM without discussing his voracious appetite for visual arts. He is a known museum hopper who has traversed the globe to stand in silence before masterworks. Seattle offers a unique artistic landscape that blends indigenous heritage with modern innovation. The Seattle Art Museum, Sam, and the Olympic Sculpture Park would become his second homes. Imagine him wandering through the Chihuly Garden in glass, mesmerized by how the blown glass mimics the organic shapes of nature, finding inspiration for poetry in the refraction of light. Unlike the intimidating high-speed art scene of New York, Seattle's art scene is contemplative and integrated into the environment. It is art in nature, a concept that defines RM's Indigo era. He wouldn't just be a visitor. He would likely be a board member, quietly funding exhibitions for underrepresented Korean artists, bridging the gap between East and West from his quiet corner of the Pacific Northwest. We must also consider the smart city aspect. Seattle is a hub of tech and literature, a city with the highest literacy rate in America. It is a city of readers. The Seattle Central Library, an architectural marvel of glass and steel, is exactly the kind of building RM would marvel at, getting lost in its spiral of books for hours. The city's independent bookstores, like the legendary Elliott Bay Book Company, would be his playgrounds. He could browse rare first editions anonymously, surrounded by people who value privacy and intellect over celebrity culture. The Edu-tainment value of this choice lies in the atmosphere. Seattle is a city that respects the mind. It allows RM to transition from being the leader of BTS to simply being the thinker. Furthermore, the domestic architecture of the Pacific Northwest often, featuring large windows, natural wood, and integration with the surrounding forest fits his aesthetic perfectly. His home wouldn't be a palace. It would be a modern cabin tucked away on Bainbridge Island or Mercer Island, filled with his collection of Nakashima wood furniture and moon jars, a private gallery where he can host intimate dinners with intellectuals, artists, and his fellow members when they visit. The culinary scene, focusing on fresh seafood and farm-tateable sustainability, aligns with his appreciation for healthy, wholesome living. And let's not forget the emotional resonance. The gloom of Seattle isn't sad. It's poetic. It allows for the mono mixtape vibes to exist in real life. It is a place where it is okay to be melancholic, to be deep, to be slow. For a man who had to run at full speed for decades, carrying the expectations of a nation and a generation, the slow, rhythmic, rain-soaked pace of Seattle is the ultimate healing balm. It is here, among the ferns and the fog, that Kim Namjoon finally finds the answer to his lifelong question of identity, settling into a life that is as rich, textured, and enduring as the old-growth forests that surround him. Number 5 is not just a city, it is a state of mind, and that mind belongs to our... Number 4, Kim Tae-young, The Windy Symphony for the Winter Bed, a jazz lover's canvas where the saxophone never sleeps. We now cross the continental divide and venture into the heart of the Midwest, landing in a city that is as majestic as it is melancholy, a metropolis built on broad shoulders, steel, and a deep, soulful musical heritage that vibrates through the very pavement. Number 4 on our list is the architecturally stunning and culturally profound Chicago, Illinois. And there is one member whose soul seems to have been retroactively forged in the jazz clubs of the 1920s. A man who lives life like a vintage film reel, Kim Tae-young, the artist known as VY Chicago. To understand this destiny, we must close our eyes and listen. Can you hear the mournful, smoky cry of a saxophone drifting down a snowy street? Can you see the sepia-toned glow of streetlights reflecting off a wet raincoat? This is the aesthetic of V. While other members might seek eternal sunshine or bustling tech hubs, V has always been the winter bear, a man who finds beauty in the quiet, the cold, and the classic. Chicago is the spiritual home of the jazz and blues that V holds so dear. We know he is not just a listener but a player. His fascination with the trumpet and the saxophone is well documented. In a future where the glitz of K-pop has faded, imagine a silver-haired gentleman with an aura of timeless elegance stepping into the Green Mill in Uptown, a legendary jazz club once frequented by Al Capone. He wouldn't be there to perform for a screaming crowd. He would be there to sit in a velvet booth, swirling a glass of whiskey or perhaps a strawberry juice, closing his eyes to absorb every note of a live quartet. Chicago offers him the authenticity he craves. It's not the polished, commercialized jazz of a tourist trap. It's the gritty, real, improvisational soul of music that matches his own singularity vibe. The climate of Chicago, often feared for its brutal winters, is actually a major selling point for V. Remember Snowflower. Remember his love for winter fashion. V is the member who looks most at home in long, structured wool coats, cashmere scarves, and the Windy City gives him the eternal runway to dress like the classic gentleman he is. A retirement in Miami or LA would rob him of his sartorial joy. But Chicago allows him to layer up and walk along the frozen shores of Lake Michigan, creating a scene that looks like a painting. Speaking of paintings, we cannot ignore the Art Institute of Chicago. V is a profound lover of art, often visiting galleries during tours. The Art Institute is home to one of the finest collections of Impressionist and Post-Impressionist art in the world, including works by Van Gogh and Sarah. Picture him visiting the museum on a quiet Tuesday, standing for hours in front of a sundae on Le Grande's yacht, just analyzing the pointillism, not as a celebrity, but as a student of beauty. He could even take up painting again, setting up a studio in a high-ceilinged loft in the Wicker Park or Lincoln Park neighborhood, where the brick walls and industrial windows provide the perfect light for his Vante creations. The Edu-tainment angle reveals that Chicago is a city of neighborhoods, each with a distinct character. Much like V's multifaceted personality, it's a city that values history and preservation. Unlike the constantly demolishing and rebuilding nature of Seoul, V, who cherishes vintage cameras and old sentimental items, would fall in love with the city's architecture, the Gothic towers, the Art Deco skyscrapers, the historic brownstones. He could spend his days visiting antique shops in Andersonville, hunting for rare vinyl records or a vintage Leica camera to add to his collection. Chicago is also a city that respects privacy. It has plenty of celebrities like Oprah or Michael Jordan in the past who lived there because the Midwestern sensibility is less intrusive than the coasts. People might recognize him, but they would likely give him a polite nod rather than a mob scene, allowing him the ordinary life he has often mused about. Let's dig deeper into the blue and gray of it all. V's solo music often carries a nostalgic, slightly sorrowful yet comforting tone. Chicago's atmosphere, especially in the autumn and winter, physically manifests that feeling. It is a romantic city, but a mature romance. It's walking hand in hand through Millennium Park under the Bean Cloud Gate, watching the city skyline reflect in the metallic surface. It's the sound of the L train rumbling overhead, a rhythmic noise that becomes a lullaby. V has a whimsical side, too. He loves amusement parks and fun. Navy Pier offers that classic carnival feel right on the water, a place where he could indulge his inner child with a bag of popcorn, watching the fireworks over the lake in the summer. But ultimately, it is the soul of Chicago that calls him. It is a city for the old soul. In his golden years, V wouldn't want to be trendy. He would want to be timeless. He would want to host dinner parties with jazz playing on a turntable, surrounded by art-close friends and his beloved dog or the descendants of looking out at the skyline that birthed the skyscraper. Chicago is the only American city that can offer him the depth of culture, the seasons he loves, and the soundtrack of his life. It is the perfect cinematic backdrop for the man who lives his life like a beautiful slow-motion movie. Can you see him there, adjusting his scarf against the wind? A small, satisfied smile on his face as the snow begins to fall. That is Kim Tae-young in Chicago. The jazz notes fade into the snowy night, but the beat goes on. We are entering the top 3. The stakes are getting higher. The city's more intense. Who is next? The producer, the dancer, the golden Mac. Number 3, Min Yoongi, the Golden Gate for the Genius Lab. A courtside seat to history, where wine flows and beats drop. We have reached the podium, the top 3, and the atmosphere shifts from the snowy streets of Chicago to a place where the fog rolls in like a cinematic curtain reveal, where technology meets unparalleled luxury, and where the roar of a stadium isn't for a concert, but for a buzzer-beating three-pointer that shakes the very foundation of the earth. Number 3 on our list brings us to the sophisticated, hilly, and culturally wealthy innovation capital of the world, San Francisco, California. There is only one member of BTS whose complex, layered, and meticulously crafted soul belongs in this city of masterminds and champions. The lead rapper, the producer, the hand of Midas Menu, famously known as Suga or August D. Why, you ask, would the Daegu wordsmith choose the Bay Area as his final fortress? To understand this perfect union, we must look at the 2 greatest non-musical loves of Suga's life, basketball and alcohol. San Francisco is the holy grail for both. Let's start with the courts. Suga is not just a casual fan of basketball. It is his first love, the sport that gave him his stage name shooting guard. In the year 2060, imagine a silver-haired Min Yoongi radiating an aura of quiet power and wealth, sitting courtside at the Chase Center, home of the Golden State Warriors. We know he is a massive fan. We saw the spark in his eyes when he met Steph Curry, a meeting of 2 legends who redefined their respective fields. San Francisco offers him the chance to be a part of that legacy, not as an idol, but as a revered patron of the sport. He wouldn't just be watching, he would be analyzing the plays with the same surgical precision he uses to dissect a beat, perhaps even owning a minority stake in the team. Blending his business acumen with his passion, the Edu-tainment factor here is fascinating. The Bay Area is a region that rewards quiet competence and intellectual dominance, traits that define Suga. He isn't loud. He is effective. San Francisco is a city of introverted geniuses who change the world from their garages, mirroring Suga's journey from a cramped studio in Namsindong to the top of the world. Now, let's drive an hour north across the iconic Golden Gate Bridge, through the rolling mist-covered hills to Napa Valley and Sonoma, for the host of Suchwita, a show dedicated to deep conversations over drinks. This region is paradise. Suga has developed a refined palate for whiskey, wine, and traditional liquors. The Bay Area is the heart of American Can you visualize it? A sprawling minimalist estate tucked away in the quiet hills of Marin County, or perhaps a private vineyard in Napa itself, owned by Min Yoongi. He wouldn't just drink the wine, he would create it. August D reserves a vintage age to perfection, much like his own career. He would spend his days walking through the vineyards, inspecting the grapes with that serious, thoughtful expression we know so well, finding peace in the slow, methodical process of fermentation, a sharp contrast to the fast-paced K-pop industry. The climate here is perfect for him. It's never too hot, never too freezing, just a perpetual, crisp coolness that allows him to wear his beloved sweaters and leather jackets comfortably year-round. But we must also talk about the Genius Lab. Suga is a workaholic by nature. Retirement for him doesn't mean stopping music. It means making music on his own terms. San Francisco is the tech capital of the world, Silicon Valley. Here, he would have access to audio technology before it even hits the market. His home studio would be a spaceship of sound, a place where he could continue to produce experimental tracks or film scores for Hollywood blockbusters without ever leaving his house. The architecture of San Francisco Victorian elegance mixed with ultra-modern sleekness fits his aesthetic. He appreciates history but lives in the future. A home in Pacific Heights with a view of the bay and Alcatraz would give him the isolation he craves. Suga has often spoken about the burden of fame and the desire for normalcy. The Bay Area is filled with billionaires and tech moguls who value privacy above all else. It is a place where high-status individuals leave each other alone. He could walk his dog, Holly, or Holly's grandpuppy, along Crissy Field with the bridge in the background, just another wealthy resident enjoying the view. Furthermore, let's reflect on the food. Suga loves meat, he loves cooking, and he has a very specific taste. San Francisco has more Michelin-starred restaurants per capita than almost anywhere else in the U.S., from high-end steakhouses to authentic Asian fusion that rivals Seoul. He would be in culinary heaven. He could host private dinners for his members, cooking immense steaks on an outdoor grill overlooking the Pacific Ocean, laughing his gummy smile as the sun sets into the water. The emotional resonance of San Francisco is also key. It is a city of resilience, a city that has rebuilt itself after earthquakes, much like Suga rebuilt himself after his shoulder injury and the mental struggles he poured into his mission. The fog call that envelops the city in the mornings offers a blanket of comfort, a physical manifestation of the introversion he cherishes. It allows him to hide in plain sight. It is a city that feels deep, slightly melancholic, yet incredibly rich and vibrant. A perfect mirror to the soul of Min Yoongi. He wouldn't be the lonely king in a castle. He would be the wise sage on the mountain, surrounded by the things he loves, the bounce of a basketball, the swirl of a fine vintage, the hum of a synthesizer, and the peace he fought so hard to find. San Francisco isn't just a retirement plan. It's the final, triumphant track on the album of his life. The producer has found his studio in the clouds, and the podium is filling up. Only 2 spots remain, the silver and gold medals of our list. Who captures the number 2 spot? Is it the golden matinee or the modern dancer? The tension is rising. Number 2, Jimin, the concrete runway for the modern swan, a city of lights for the star, where fashion breathes. We have arrived at the epicenter of the world, the city that never sleeps, the undeniable capital of culture, fashion, and grit. New York City, New York. And standing tall amidst the skyscrapers, holding a glass of champagne on a rooftop overlooking Central Park, is none other than the it boy of the century. The man who redefined gender norms in fashion and dance, the mesmerizing Park Jimin. Why New York? Why would the sweet mochi of BTS choose the chaotic, loud, and intense streets of Manhattan as his final resting place? Because, my dear viewers, beneath that sweet exterior lies a fierce, competitive, and incredibly sophisticated soul that thrives on the energy of the night. Jimin is not a man who fades into the background. He is the main character, and New York City is the only stage big enough for his act 2. To understand this choice, we must look at the like crazy era, the synth pop, the neon lights, the hazy club-filled nights of longing and beauty. That entire aesthetic is pure New York City nightlife. Imagine the year 2058, still possessing that ethereal, ageless beauty, is living in a sprawling, ultra-modern penthouse in Tribeca, or perhaps a historic, renovated loft in Soho with high ceilings and massive windows. He isn't just a resident, he is New York royalty. The city's pulse matches his own internal rhythm. Jimin has always been a night owl, often staying up late to work or think. In NYC, the city is his companion. He can look out his window at 3 a.m. and see the Empire State Building glowing, a reminder that the world is still moving, just like him. Let's talk about dance. This is the crucial Edu-tainment factor. New York is the global heart of modern and contemporary dance. It is the home of Broadway, the Juilliard School, and the American Ballet Theater. Jimin's background is in contemporary dance. His movements are fluid, artistic, and emotive. In his retirement, he wouldn't stop dancing. Picture him as a distinguished patron of the arts at Lincoln Center, attending the opening nights of the ballet. Dressed in absolute high-fashion perfection, he might even secretly fund scholarships for young male dancers who, like his younger self, dreamt of flying on stage. He could visit the legendary dance studios in Hell's Kitchen, not to be swarmed by fans, but to watch, to feel the floor vibrate, to stay connected to the art form that saved him. New York allows him to be an artist with a capital A. It is a city that respects talent above all else. Then there is fashion. Oh, the fashion! Jimin is the global ambassador for luxury brands like Dior and Tiffany & Co. For a reason. He breathes style. New York is the runway of the world. Fifth Avenue, Madison Avenue, the cobblestone streets of the meatpacking district. This is his natural habitat. In a rural town, wearing a $5,000 trench coat might look out of place, but in NYC, it's a Tuesday. Imagine a silver-haired Jimin wearing dark sunglasses and a chic, layered outfit, walking down the street with that signature Jimin walk, toes slightly pointed out, gliding rather than walking. He would be a fixture at New York Fashion Week, sitting front row next to Anna Wintour, whispering critiques, his eye for details sharper than ever. He loves shopping, not just for the sake of buying, but for the appreciation of design. NYC offers him the best vintage stores in Brooklyn and the most exclusive ateliers in Manhattan. We must also consider the cuteness factor amidst the cool. Jimin loves good food and has a playful side. NYC's Koreatown, K-Town on 32nd Street would be his comfort zone when he misses the taste of home, offering the best spicy tteokbokki and soju at any hour. But beyond that, New York's culinary scene is endless. He could enjoy a quiet, romantic dinner at a Michelin-starred restaurant in the West Village or grab a slice of dollar pizza because even legends love pizza while laughing with friends. The city allows for anonymity in the crowd. New Yorkers are famous for playing it cool. They might see Jimin, but they'd likely just tweet about it later rather than mobbing him, giving him the space to breathe. Furthermore, let's reflect on the climate and atmosphere. Jimin loves the snow. He loves the romantic, cozy vibe of winter. There is nothing more magical than New York City in December, the Rockefeller Center tree, the holiday window displays on Saks Fifth Avenue, the steam rising from the manholes. It fits the serendipity and Christmas love vibes perfectly. He could bundle up in thick scarves and fuzzy hats, which we know he looks adorable in, and walk through a snowy Central Park. Watching the skaters at Woolman Rink, it's a scene straight out of a movie. And Jimin's life has always been cinematic. But deeper than that, New York is a city of strivers. It's a place for people who work hard and want to be the best. Jimin is known as the member who practiced the hardest, the perfectionist who never settled. Nick respects that hustle. It validates his journey. Living there is a trophy in itself. It says, I conquered the world, and now I live at the top of it. The interior of his home would reflect this. Minimalist, but warm, filled with art, soft lighting, and perhaps a dedicated room for his dad to stay in when he visits from Busan. The view from his balcony, overlooking the Hudson River at sunset, would be the backdrop for his evening wine. A moment to reflect on the millions of hearts he touched. He isn't lonely there. He is connected to the universe. New York is loud, yes, but for Jimin, it's a symphony. It's a place where he can be Park Jimin the human and Jimin the icon simultaneously. The city's resilience mirrors his own. He fell down many times on stage and in life, but he always got back up, just like New York. It is the perfect, glittering, high-energy match for the man who was born to shine. Number 2 is the city of dreams, for the man who made us all dream. Ladies and gentlemen, the countdown is almost over. We have traveled across the continent, but one spot remains. The number 1 position, the ultimate destination. Only one member is left, the Golden Magnet, Chenja, where in the United States could possibly contain the boundless energy, the passion, and the multifaceted talent of the man who can do everything. Is it a city, a ranch, an island? Prepare yourselves for the grand finale. Number 1, Jungkook, the Lone Star Kingdom for the Golden Ace, a ranch of dreams where music meets the horizon. Ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived at the summit, the peak, the absolute zenith of our journey. We have explored the coasts, the forests, and the cities of neon. But number 1 is reserved for the member who defies gravity, the man who can do anything and everything, the eternal Golden Matinee who grew up to be a global pop titan. Chenj. Where does the man who has the world at his fingertips go to find his golden years? The answer lies deep in the heart of the American South, in a place that values freedom, music, food, and wide open spaces above all else. We are planting our flag in the vibrant, rebellious, and endlessly cool city of Austin, Texas. Why Austin? Why the Lone Star State? Because Jungkook is a spirit that cannot be caged. A penthouse in a crowded city or a quiet house in the suburb simply isn't enough to contain his explosive energy and his multifaceted hobbies. He needs land. He needs sky. He needs a kingdom. Imagine the year 2065. Drive about 30 minutes outside the bustling, music-filled streets of downtown Austin into the rolling Texas hill country. There, behind a rustic but high-tech gate, lies a sprawling 100-decker ranch. This is the domain of Chunju. The choice of Texas is rooted deeply in Jungkook's personality profile. He loves activities. He loves camping. He loves boxing. He loves cooking. And he loves driving fast. Austin provides the ultimate canvas for all of these. In this future, Jungkook isn't just sitting around. He is living a rugged, hands-on lifestyle that he has always hinted at enjoying. Picture him, still incredibly fit and muscular in his later years, wearing a simple white t-shirt, worn-in denim jeans, and boots, walking across his property. Running beside him isn't just one dog, but a whole pack of Dobermans, the descendants of his beloved Bam, frolicking freely in the tall grass. There are no paparazzi here, no cameras, just the sound of the wind and the freedom he has craved since he was 15 years old. Let's talk about the Edu-tainment aspect of the lifestyle fit. Austin is known as the live music capital of the world. It is a city that breathes music, but not in the polished, corporate way of Los Angeles. It's raw, it's gritty, it's about a guy with a guitar in a dive bar pouring his heart out. This resonates perfectly with Jungkook's love for busking and authentic vocal performances. We can easily imagine a retired JK perhaps wearing a hat low over his eyes, slipping into a local jazz or blues bar on 6th Street or South Congress Avenue. Not to perform as Jungkook of BTS, but just to jump on the drums for a set or sing a soulful cover of a country pop ballad purely for the joy of music. The local culture of Austin is Keep Austin Weird. It celebrates individuality and nonconformity. Jungkook, who covered his arm in tattoos and pierced his lip when idols weren't supposed to, would feel right at home in a city that champions being yourself. Then there is the food. Oh, the food! We know Jungkook is a passionate cook who has gone viral for his noodle recipes and late-night mukbang. Texas is the holy land of BBQ. Imagine the Kookman chef evolving into a pitman. On his ranch, he would undoubtedly have a massive custom-built smoker. He would spend his weekends perfecting the art of the 12-hour slow-smoked brisket, combining traditional Texas flavors with his own secret Korean spice rubs. Perhaps a Bulgogi-style brisket that becomes legendary among his neighbors. He would host massive outdoor feasts for the other BTS members when they fly in from their respective cities. Can you see it? Jin complaining about the heat, Suga critiquing the marinade, and Jungkook just laughing, serving up platters of meat with that proud, sparkling look in his eyes. We must also address his need for speed and adrenaline. The Texas Hill Country offers some of the best winding roads in America. Jungkook, a known lover of motorcycles and fast cars, would have a garage that looks more like a showroom. He could take his bike out at sunset, tearing down the empty highways with the orange sun setting over the horizon, feeling the 7-days-a-week freedom he sings about. The sheer scale of Texas matches the scale of his stardom. It's big, it's bold. Furthermore, the camping element is crucial. Jungkook loves camping so much he would likely just live in a camper van if he could. On his Austin ranch, he wouldn't need to pack up and leave. He would have a permanent luxury glamping setup by a private creek on his land. He could sleep under the stars whenever he wanted, listening to the crickets, surrounded by the nature he finds so healing. The weather hot and intense matches his fiery passion. He doesn't like the cold. He thrives in the heat. But ultimately, Austin offers him the golden balance. It is a city of youth and innovation, with companies like Tesla moving there, mirroring his tech-savvy side. Yet it retains a slow, southern hospitality. It allows him to be the golden matinee forever, a man who refuses to become a boring old adult. He would be the cool, mysterious rancher who drives a sports car, sings like an angel, and cooks the best food in the county. It is a place where he can finally stretch his wings fully without hitting the walls of a glass box. He conquered the charts. He conquered the world. And now, in the vast open fields of Texas, he conquers the art of living for himself. The sun sets on the west, painting the sky in hues of purple and gold, a perfect borahay. Sunset closing the chapter on a legendary life. And there he stands, Jungkook #1, finally home. And there you have it, fellow travelers and armies, a journey through time, space, and the souls of 7 legends, from the jazz-filled streets of Chicago to the sun-drenched vineyards of San Francisco, from the concrete jungle of New York to the wide-open ranches of Texas. We have painted a picture of a future that is peaceful, vibrant, and worthy of the men who gave us their youth. While we don't have a time machine to see if these predictions come true, one thing is certain: wherever they go, they will carry the love of millions with them. Thank you for joining us on this Edu-tainment adventure. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep streaming, and never stop believing in the magic of the future. This has been your narrator, signing off.